Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to my cozy little corner of the internet. In the previous episode, there was a moment of tense peace between Jasper and Mel. In today's episode, we will continue with this tense story. So, grab your favourite beverage, sit back, relax, and I shall begin. Chapter 6. A Family Operation. Eric woke with a start. He quickly looked around the room and saw the door across from him. Wasn't he standing at the door not too long ago? He sat up, feeling soft sheets in his hands. He was back on the bed. Did he go back to it at some point and doze off? He didn't really remember. Was it food? Was he drugged? If he was drugged, he would be having serious words with the girl next time she showed up. However, he felt normal. He didn't feel drowsy or anything. Maybe I was just so tired that I fell asleep, he muttered as he stretched and stood up from the bed. When he did so, he took another look around the room. Nothing had really changed as far as he knew. No one else had been in the room, which admittedly, he was relieved about. He didn't like the idea of being in an unknown place and vulnerable. He especially didn't like the idea of strangers entering his space when he was vulnerable. One thing changed though, and as Eric walked over to the porthole to look through it, he was sure that he could see a cityscape in the distance. Were they close to their destination? He couldn't help but feel relief that he would soon be getting out of the room. However, he also felt apprehensive. He still didn't know who these people were, why they took him, and what they had planned for him. Were they going to hurt him? Eric turned his head towards the door as he heard a noise. It was very faint at first, but when he crept closer to the door, it became a little clearer. He pressed his ear against the door and listened to the conversation. I spoke to the captain. He said we'll be docking in 30 minutes. A female voice spoke. The voice sounded older than the girl that brought him food. Was she the one in charge on the boat? You need to prepare him for transport. Yes, Auntie. The familiar voice of the food girl could be heard. She referred to the other woman as Auntie. A family operation, maybe? Although it would be nice to know why we're doing this. Kidnapping someone seems so wrong. My dear, we're not kidnapping him per se. We're simply taking him back to where he belongs, the older woman reasoned. Eric couldn't help but scoff at that. He was already where he belonged, and they took him away from that. He didn't plan on making it easy for them. Still, this doesn't feel right to me. Your feelings on the matter are irrelevant. We have a job to do, and we expect you to play your part. You don't want to make her angry, do you? Eric let out a small gasp before he quickly covered his mouth. The way that woman said the word her made him wonder just who she was referring to. Was it the one in charge of all this? A chill ran down his spine. What had he been brought into? Whatever it was, he didn't want to stick around. No, the girl answered, her voice shaking with fear. Then do what I ask. Obedience will protect you. Eric took a deep breath as he heard footsteps walking away. The conversation was clearly over. The younger woman sounded doubtful of the whole thing. Maybe he could convince her to let him out. Maybe he could talk her into coming with him. He didn't want to end up wherever it was they were taking him to. He had to get out of there one way or another. He stepped back from the door when he heard footsteps approaching. He mentally and physically prepared himself to talk to the girl from earlier. He kept his eyes firmly on the door, waiting for the hatch to open. A moment later, he heard the familiar sound of the hatch opening. But before Eric could get a word in, something dropped into the room from the hatch. He stared at it, not sure what it was. He was so distracted by it that he didn't even notice that another one had been dropped in, and the hatch had closed. He looked back up as soon as the hatch door closed. Hey! He called out. Come back! He banged on the door, but he didn't hear anything on the other side. Did she really leave? He didn't have time to think about it further as he heard a loud hissing sound. He looked down and saw that the two objects had opened and were spewing a strange black gas into the room. Eric gasped as he pulled his shirt up over his nose and mouth to try and stop breathing it in. He stepped back towards the bed, but with the door and the hatch closed, and the porthole not being able to open, it wasn't long before the gas spread around the room. Eric coughed as he breathed in more of the gas. It had now completely spread around the room, and he had nowhere else to go. He started to feel lightheaded and drowsy, and collapsed to the floor. Before he passed out, he heard the door opening, and through his blurring vision saw someone wearing a gas mask walking towards him. That is the end of today's episode, and it looks like Eric has arrived at the mainland, where his ordeal is far from over. Could Mel and Jasper really be far behind? Will Eric wake up and figure out an escape plan before he reaches his destination? Tune into the next episode to find out.